there, you are tuned into Creative Calling Podcast. I'm your host, Brianna Christine, designer, illustrator, dancer, entrepreneur, and eternal optimist. And I'm here to talk to you today about my book, Creative Calling Activity Book, which is a book that I designed for creative entrepreneurs who are at the beginning of their journey and they are looking for a million ways to get started, and they are looking to pare down their ideas or enhance their ideas, or maybe you're in the thick of your journey, you've been doing this for a while, you're looking for something to refresh you, to renew you. There are never-ending ideas in this book that will help you get through some of those creative roadblocks that you feel like you've been facing. Guys, if you haven't bought this book yet, I want to ask you why. It's already been sold 50 times and it's had 5-star reviews again and again and again on Amazon. So if you haven't bought it yet, don't just take my word for it. Take it from my listeners and take it from the people who have purchased the book and seen success in it. So yet again today, I want to take another activity from my book and break it down for you. And for those of you who haven't purchased it yet, you just get a little taste of what you're going to, like the depth of what you would get if you had the entire book. So today I am talking about, this is my favorite drawing. It's because it has a quote and I just love the quote. It says, "The grass is greener under me." I know I didn't make up the quote, but it is a really great quote. And I love that in reality, the grass actually is just greener under her, because the alternative being what? That the grass is greener on the other side. And the reality is that we have the opportunity and the power to create more opportunities, the life we want right here, where we are, where we stand. It's not actually over there. It's so much actually not over there. That ties into my activity for the day. This is a fun one because it requires you to get a little bit creative. Wow, creative calling activity book. It says, fill in the trophy with words of all the things about your product or service that make it awesome. And I give you a trophy so you don't have to draw it, although for those of you who are inclined, perhaps you want to add to it. The goal is to fill it in with everything that makes it awesome. Now, I got this idea from another book that I read that asked me to do a similar thing, and I recognize that it can feel pretty childish. It can feel like, a little bit hokey, but you know, it's one of those things where once you do it and you start to understand the meaning behind it, you actually can appreciate more the activity. And what I mean by this is, if you can't confidently fill in this trophy, like confidently with things, and you find this activity difficult, one, where's your childlike spirit? Two, because you need, before I move on from that point, you need a childlike spirit to be an entrepreneur. So come on, guys, get some fun, have some fun with this activity. Two, if you're having trouble filling it in, is it because you truly don't know what makes you special? And my second question to you is, do you have trouble answering that because you don't believe it yourself? Because it's easy for other people to see what makes us special, sometimes from the outside, and sometimes because we know how we are and it's so natural for us that it's harder for us to see it. So if you don't know what makes you special, maybe ask a couple friends today. But if you do know, very, 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 a lot, confidently write it into this trophy. So I write that I am very fast, I'm efficient with my work, and I can be that way because I'm also knowledgeable, I'm experienced, I ask great questions, I'm aware of my clients' needs, I'm aware of the industry and what it can provide, I'm flexible, I make beautiful work, I know what makes my art stand out from other people's art, from all aspects, whether that's from a time point of view, from a color point of view, from an application point of view. I am aware of these things. So if you're not aware of these things, maybe take this time when you're sitting down with this activity to be aware to become aware of these things. I know what makes my work, I know my work is very customizable. It's my attitude, my personal demeanor is friendly. I have work that has won awards across multiple platforms in both video and in illustration. And that's what I wrote in here. So when I talk to people, the next step is, okay, so maybe you write it down. That's great. You've completed the activity. Cool. But really the activity isn't meant to stay in this book. The whole point of this is, again, for you to truly believe that, latch onto that, and you tell people what your trophies are. You tell people what your achievements are. Believe it. Go at it with a full force. I can tell you, even when it comes to this podcast, sometimes I act like, oh, I just have this little podcast. It's just this little thing. And then my friends are the ones that end up having to build me up, or at least it has been that way in the past, where they go, hey, did you know Brianna has like a podcast that she produces that it's really awesome and it has really great stuff and she even interviews really amazing people? And I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I? But imagine if I were the one to be truly, I want to say the unicorn. I think of this unicorn comic that I've seen, and maybe I'll put this in our show notes, of a unicorn sitting at a therapist, and he's kind of like dazed and looking up at the therapist, and the therapist is saying to the unicorn, but do you believe in yourself? Right? Like, and I hate to play off of this sort of overplayed unicorn trend that's going around, but the funny thing is, like, replace it with whatever you want, a sphinx, a griffin, or whatever imaginary character you want to imagine is sitting there in that therapist chair. Like, do you believe that you have that unique set of combined skills that makes you awesome, that makes you a trophy, that makes you an asset, a positive asset? Guys, seriously, I don't really have much else to say on that. I just really want to push that idea that you need to be aware and practice in person saying what is good about you. In fact, please use the comments if you feel comfortable, and you should, because this is a safe place. Use the comments to practice saying something positive. I promise I'll get back to you and cheer you on with whatever work you are working on lately. And I know I have listeners that are ready to help cheer you on as well as those who have read the book, and we all encourage each other. In fact, we all have this awesome Facebook group that anyone who has purchased the book gets joined into. We meet virtually and we inspire each other even more in that group. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Creative Calling Podcast. You can find this show on YouTube, on SoundCloud. Those are the only places it is now. You can find out more about me, my work, and the podcast at creativecallingbook.com. You can get the Creative Calling Activity book there on that website, creativecallingbook.com, or you can get it on Amazon. And you can find me on facebook.com/Brianna, the number 4 creatives, or you can go to instagram.com. That's at Brianna4creatives, and I just put up a new art piece with a video process last night, so hope you guys enjoy that little bit of extra fun stuff. I love to be able to get around to some work for me when I can. So thank you guys again, and as always, until next time.